Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney team up for a twisty Apple original drama, Echo Valley. Can this maintain its intrigue, or does it just flounder and peter out? Kate is a mother struggling to make peace with her troubled daughter Claire, a situation that becomes even more perilous when Claire shows up on Kate's doorstep, hysterical and covered in someone else's blood. As Kate pieces together the shocking truth of what happened, she learns just how far a mother will go to try to save her child. This dramatic thriller also stars Fiona Shaw and Donald Gleason, and then takes place in this rural countryside. Now, Moore's Kate is a grieving widow who is barely able to maintain her horse ranch due to just her overwhelming grief. And then to compound her emotional strain, Kate's daughter Claire, who's played by Sweeney, shows up after being absent for quite a while. And when a moment arises that puts Claire in trouble, Kate has a decision to make that could lead to unexpected consequences. Now, from an emotional angle, this movie hits hard as it addresses the themes of grief. I mean, it's not just grief from death, but also the loss of what could have been. Julianne Moore is just excellent at displaying this defeated aura when she is overwhelmed by her sadness to the point that it just hunches her and it colors her entire outlook on life. And I really appreciate how Moore not only shows us the sadness, but also how it manifests into longing, regret, restlessness, even anger. And there are several moments when she has this explosive reaction, creating a palpable atmosphere where you just want to slink off into the background and disappear if you were in the same room when she was expressing her emotions. And Sydney Sweeney matches her beat for beat, creating a persona that is downtrodden and discarded, but someone who doesn't really want any sort of help, unless it's money to help get another high. Now, I've not watched Euphoria, so maybe she's channeling what she's done there for this role, but I did have a visceral reaction to her character where I found myself withholding compassion for Claire just because of her choices. As a course of this story, Sweeney isn't in this an overwhelming amount. Moore is front and center throughout just about every scene, and then sharing almost equal screen time with Sweeney are Fiona Shaw and Donald Gleason. Now, Shaw is a tough and no-nonsense ride-or-die friend to Kate. She's brash, not too compassionate at times, but the love through their friendship is very evident. And while the dynamic between Kate and Claire was tense and sad, the vibe between Kate and Shaw's character of Les just was encouraging and uplifting. And then we have Donald Gleason, and he's put on his American accent for this, just like Shaw, and it works as a nondescript, gravelly voice. Now, Gleason gets to be sort of a chameleon in this, even though, as the audience, we can see right through any facade that he puts up. Now, as Jackie, he's the antagonist within the story and thrives when he delivers menace. He's also meant to be a foreboding presence within the story, and a few times, he certainly achieves that. Other times, Jackie just kind of feels more like a mindless dolt who is so used to getting his way by giving off hard looks that he completely negates the possibility of coming up against real strength. Now, this clocks in at an hour and 44 minutes, and while it's not heart-pounding thrills every moment, there is enough suspense and anxiety to maintain a steady pace. Even when the storytelling slows down to allow us to get more acquainted with how Kate is handling her emotions, there's still the underlying dread where we're just waiting for the shoe to drop. Now, I thought the pacing for this worked to both establish the uneasy tone and then maintain the intrigue so that when the story reaches the climax, it's driving with urgency. The movie's beautiful to look at, and the scenery, it just lends itself to natural excellence, whether that be in the tranquility of Kate's farm or the calm, tree-lined expanse of the nearby lake. The cinematography provides us a lot of visual diversity, which alternates through top-down, extremely wide shots of like the lake that just dwarf a character within the surroundings, to then intimate framings that allow us to see the terror or maybe anxiety that's held within a character's eyes. And from a mystery standpoint, while the plot maintains a lot of intrigue and combines it with the mounting suspense, I think you're going to see the ending coming very early on. Once we get a certain reveal, the film repeats itself then a bit to just show us all that happened. I guess maybe on the off chance that we weren't paying attention. The redundancy was unnecessary, and it added length without depth. And the clues are also placed out for us just to grab and then arrive at the conclusion. So the final outcome, it's not nearly as surprising as I think the writing believes it to be. I do have to say, though, that there was one segment of the arc earlier on that I didn't see coming. So that shock was a really good one for me. And for as much as I liked Moore's performance, there are times that the writing lets the character down by having her either make dumb decisions or fall into inaction despite a threatening predicament. Now, her character was shown to be strong, and although grieving, still decisive and action-oriented. but then that switch has just kind of flipped off, leaving her character to uncharacteristically flounder. So while Echo Valley has strengths in its performances and can establish and maintain a level of dreadful urgency almost throughout, the mystery is more obvious than it should be, reducing the overall effectiveness of the storytelling to one that only really thrives thanks to the actors' portrayals. And despite some dumb character decisions and slight plot conveniences, the themes are executed well and complemented through beautiful imagery. There's no sex or nudity, ton of profanity, and some violence. I give Echo Valley 3.5 out of 5 couches. I mean, had the mystery been obscured more, I think this would have been a solid, intriguing thriller. But it's still a good suspenseful watch all the same. Okay, have you watched any good mysteries or thrillers lately? I'd love some recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.